Hello, my name is Lizzie. I'm Anglican. I will soon be joining a community of religious sisters. The answer is no, but carry on watching to find out more.
I will hold your people in my heart.
When somebody who feels called to religious life eventually comes to the point of making their final vows, they usually make vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, or a slight variation of that. And the word chastity means not having sex outside of marriage. And if you're married, then the word chastity means remaining faithful to your spouse. And from my understanding, when somebody's making a religious vow of chastity, what they're saying is, for the rest of my life, from this moment on, I'm promising to never again have sexual intimacy or a romantic relationship. So making religious vows, a bit like when someone is getting married and making vows in a wedding context, they're saying that these are promises about the future, that these are the promises we're making from this day onwards for the rest of our lives. So in a way, their past is quite irrelevant to the vows that they're making about their future. So you could have somebody who grew up very wealthy and privileged, or who used to be really materialistic, and that doesn't stop them making a vow of poverty going forwards. Or you could have somebody who used to be really rebellious, and that doesn't stop them making a vow of obedience going forwards. And likewise, you could have somebody who used to sleep around a lot, or who's been quite sexually immoral in the past, but that doesn't stop them making a vow of chastity going forwards. I'm beginning a process of potentially becoming a religious sister, and as part of that process, at no point has anybody said to me, "Oh, please can you tick this box to confirm that you are still a virgin?" Or at no point has anybody said, "Oh, by the way, before we admit you or before we allow you to embark on this process, please can we double check that you are still a virgin?" Because whether or not I am a virgin is completely irrelevant to the question of, is God calling me to the vocation of religious life, and is God calling me to this community and this order? And whether or not I'm a virgin is completely irrelevant to God's ability to use me as a religious sister in the church and in the world. I do think there is something very beautiful about coming to religious life and coming to the point of making religious vows and still being a virgin at that point, so that you're a virgin your whole life for religious reasons. But my understanding of religious life is that it's not about sexual purity. My understanding is that religious life is more about profound availability to God and to the world. There are some religious sisters who are also mums of adult children, because their vocation was to marriage, and some of them had children. But what happened was that several years into their marriage, unfortunately, their husband died. And then some years after that, they then felt that they were being called to religious life. And those who had children, they felt called to religious life when those children had grown up and were no longer dependent on them. So that there are religious sisters out there who are mums at the same time of adults, and who visit them or phone them, so that uh, it might be that you're feeling called to religious life, having previously been married, and you might be in a similar situation to what I just described. Or it might be that maybe you've slept with somebody in the past, but just because you have slept with somebody in the past, if you have, that doesn't at all mean you can't become a religious sister, and that doesn't for 1 minute suggest that God can't be calling you to religious life.